I don't watch the Grammys. I don't watch the Academy Awards. I don't watch any of that stuff. But last March, if you followed the Grammys or the news that came out, there was a young woman, beautiful singer, songwriter, who stepped up onto the red carpet, and she had a white cape around her shoulders, floor length, completely white. And she walked up onto the red carpet and took that white cape off. And underneath was the most gorgeous, full-length, royal blue, Donald Trump, Make America Great Again gown that you would ever want to see. I mean, this thing, I saw this and I just said, well, I got to have one. I did. And now, her name is Joy Villa. And I reached out. I tried to find her through social media and everything else. And I reached out. I said, you know what? I have got to try to get this young lady here to be with us. I mean, to do that at the Grammys. And I'm not going to steal her thunder because I think you could probably guess the kind of response that the entertainment community gave to her. And she's here to tell us that story and more. But I just want to reiterate now, she has two friends that she's brought with her also. And I have now spent time with them. And I'm scared. I'm not kidding. They scare me. But they're millennials. They ain't afraid of nobody or nothing. And let me bring up right now Joy Villa. Joy, come on up. Oh. You got it? I know you're a snowflake, so I want to make sure I come over and do this. Okay. You want to talk for about 10 or 15 from there? And then we'll bring everybody else up. Okay. I think you're on.
Hello, everybody. Woo! Time to make America great again. Can I actually use that one?
You want to use this one?
Can I steal your mic?
I'm telling you, folks, if she's walking around with a weapon, just get ready.
Be very afraid. Thank you so much, Chuck. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you guys doing today? Woo! Conservative leadership. That's what we're here to represent. And I tell you, there's not enough people who are proud of who they are and what they represent. So I'm honored to be in a room full of those people right now. Because obviously, the intelligence in this room is sky high. Sky high, right? Come on, you can clap for each other. We're the best of the bunch, you guys. So a little bit about me. That was such a great intro. I'm a conservative. I'm a millennial. I'm a singer-songwriter. I live and work in Hollywood and in New York as well. Super liberal cities, right? Super liberal. And I've been a conservative all my life. But recently, at the Grammys, I came out as a pro-conservative and a Trump supporter. And yes, thank you. For me, it was something I had to do. It was something I had to express because this is my truth. And, you know, we've always been misaligned in the media as conservatives, right? We've always been told, yeah, they're stupid, they're backwoods, they don't know what they're doing. But when Trump got elected, let me tell you, first of all those people were calling us names were crying in their cereal that night. They were crying and they were, oh no, we thought Hillary was gonna win, and they lost. Then they thought, yes, we can clap for that. That was a shining moment of excellence. And I mean, some of you guys are Trump supporters here, right? Okay, then. I like it. So then at the Grammys, when I came out in support for the president, they thought, oh, because we win Grammys and we're the best and we're Beyonce, we're Katy Perry, we're going to win the Grammys. And then they lost. Because Trump also won the Grammys that night. Trump on the rump, baby. Proud of it. And you know, I had to do that because Madonna had said she wanted to blow up the White House in front of millions of people. She had said, I think an awful lot about blowing up the White House. And this was at the so-called Women's March. Not all women, let me tell you that. Not the women in this room, amen? Not strong, feminine, conservative women who love their men, who love their family, and love their country. We don't want to blow up the White House. I mean, we do want to go to the White House. We want to be in the White House. We should be in the House. I do believe women belong in the House and in the Senate. I think we need more women, and good men, of course, but I think we need more and more strong women to be, as Republicans, to be in office. We need it. Because that was their whole buying power. Hillary's a woman. She's a woman. She's a woman. Thanks for reminding me. She has a vagina. Does that mean I have to vote for her? I mean, sorry, don't want to be crude, but that is a part of women's anatomy. If you didn't know before, you know now. I mean, they shoved it in our face with the pussy hats. Is that what it means to be a woman these days? I could not believe my eyes. So when Madonna came out there thinking she spoke for all women, all of us, all men, all pop stars, all of Hollywood, I said, oh, hell no. Not on my watch. So that third Grammys, because I'm a member of the Recording Academy and I've been to the Grammys before, and that third Grammys, I said, let's make a punch, let's make an impact, let's be positive, and let's change the narrative. So my designer, Andre Soriano, another typical Trump supporter, he's gay, he's a Filipino immigrant, the usual. So he said, what if I made you a Trump dress? It was actually his idea. He called me crying, because we had just seen the Women's March. And, we had secretly celebrated when Trump got elected. We were crying on the phone with each other. I had my select group of friends. We were so excited. We were so happy. We stayed up all night. So again, we have these secret phone calls, secret text groups, where we just share memes and we share celebrations together. So he told me, he says, what if I make you a dress to celebrate Trump? I said, let's do it. My husband, who is not from this country. He's from Denmark, who's working on his citizenship now, legally. Joe, don't deport him. He's going to be legal. Sheriff Joe in the house. Love Sheriff Joe and all the work he's done. And so he is not a Republican, but I pilled him. You know what I mean? I've told him so many good things about Trump and so many good things about what America is doing right now that he stopped using America as a slang for ditzy. I said, thank God. He goes, oh, it's so American. I said, do not say it like that's a dirty word. We're taking it back. Being American is not a dirty word anymore. So my husband, when I told him I wanted to wear a dress in honor of our president, he said, don't do it. I'm scared. Joy, you're going to get a backlash. Someone might attack you. I thought, it's true. Madonna might mistake me for the White House and try to blow me up. Probably not a good look. I want to have some more staying power in this industry. So I listened to him for about 10 seconds, and of course, being a woman, I did what I want to do anyways. Right, ladies? So I'm very grateful for my husband, and I'm very grateful I made the decision, though, to wear that dress that night. And did I face a backlash? I'm sure you guys are wondering. You guys heard about it? Okay, so you guys haven't heard about the backlash? Well, first, I was called a coon. Oh yeah, they brought it back from like the 1920s, that slang. Horrible slang. If you don't know what coon means, it means a black person who sells out their own, right? And then, on the flip side, I was called, you don't even count as black because you voted for Trump. So I'm both black and not black, according to these people, because I voted for Trump. And it's a dirty word in both ways they say it, right? Then I was called a bed wench, which is another horrible racial slur, meaning a slave black woman who sleeps with the master to sort of get brownie points. So, I mean, this was just, I'm saying these like casually, but I was called them over and over and over and over again on my social media, by people. I even lost friends. People who used the photo of me and said, I used to know this girl. I used to love this girl. I'm so triggered. I can't be friends with Joy Villa anymore. I laughed at that, of course. I had to retweet a couple of those. They're just so juicy. So, and then, of course, all fun and games aside, people put bounties on my life. They said, we need to kill her. Let's get a group together and string her up. Let's kill this girl. Does anyone know where she lives? Death threats on my life because I wore a dress that said, Make America Great Again? Exactly. So this is what we're dealing with, you guys. We're happy. We're having fun. We're supporting our president. We're loving each other. On the other end, they want us dead for simply thinking different than how they think. If that's not fascism, I don't really know what is. But even through all the negativity that was thrown at me, the name calling, the race baiting, the horrendous, back turning when I'd be on other red carpets, some of the paparazzi would just refuse to look at me. They'd turn their back and ignore me. Very embarrassing because you're standing there looking at them like, okay, no picture? Okay, next one, okay. Yeah. So even with all that, almost getting blacklisted from fashion weeks, still, my album went to #1 on iTunes. Yeah. It went to #1 on Amazon. On Billboard. Forbes did a whole article about me. Joy Villa crushes the Grammys with her record sales. Billboard did a whole article about me. I beat some of my most favorite artists that night, artists who won multiple Grammys, and I outsold their sales. Whoa. That's right. Adele, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, they all performed, various shows, did their various antics, have said various things against Trump, and yet I outsold them, and I didn't say a negative word about Hillary. I didn't wear an anti-Hillary dress. I wouldn't. I didn't wear an anti-Obama dress. I wouldn't. I wore a pro-Trump dress, and most importantly, a pro-America dress. Make America great again. This is how we do it. This is how we do it together, unified. So I want to tell you guys, before I bring up my friends, and before I end off and we do this great panel with my millennial cohorts, right? My rebel group of rebels, gorgeous rebels. I want to tell you that even though this fight may be hard at times, it's a struggle. You're trying to talk to your friends, your family, your racial, ethnic groups that you belong to, your coworkers, and they're just looking at you and they're not listening. You know that face when they're not going to hear a damn thing you say. Because they've already made up in their mind, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're stupid. Even through all that, I'm going to tell you, we can come back twice as strong. Like I sing in my new song called Make America Great Again, which hit #1 on Amazon, by the way. Thank you. We are coming back twice as strong. The unity in this room, the unity over this weekend, get cards from each other, call each other, talk to each other, because this is how we're going to come back twice as strong, and this is how we're going to continue this fight to win. By joining together and beating them, not at their own game, but our game. Because the game is now ours. Trump is president. Hey, Republicans are on the red carpet. You guys don't want to see what's going to happen at the next Grammys. It's going to be something big, for sure. Yeah. But I tell you, now is the moment for us to be stronger than ever and stand up for what we believe in and speak up. So don't be silent. Don't let them give you bad names and tell you they're going to kill you. Because look what they did to me. I'm still here. They can't really hurt you. They can hurt you with words. They can try to scare you. But we're going to come back twice as strong. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Thank you.
Is she awesome or what? Huh? You thought that was good? You ain't seen nothing yet. All right, Joy.
Are we doing questions?
Yep, no, did you and I take a seat here in the middle, and then we'll talk a little bit about your friends.
Awesome.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I just want just a comment on one thing you said. It struck me there. You said something about being not black and not white. Is that a reference to Obama?
I'll tell you, Obama is of mixed race. He is half black, half white, just like I am. I'm black, white, and Native American. And he could have used that to unify America, right? He could have used that to racially unify us. He could have said, look at me. I'm a champion of non-racism because I'm a mixed group, just like America is. And instead, he chose to side with Black Lives Matter, which is a terrorist organization. He let the people down instead of unifying us. So I think that's why I have to speak even louder, because I like to combat that stuff. America is not racist, okay? Look at this room, every single color here. Racism exists, but that doesn't mean we are racists. And that's how we stop this race war, by simply saying, no, we're not going to be bought and paid for anymore.
Well, and I got to tell you, yes, please. You came out of the closet.
I did. Yes.
And inspired someone else in your same industry to come out of the closet. I've been reading about it on social media. By the way, before we start, social media, where do they find you if they're into social media? There's a lot of old people here probably don't, but they have kids and grandkids that might be able to find you. How do they find you?
Well, you can go to joyvilla.com. My website's got everything on there. Joyvilla.com. That's JOYVILLA.com. And all my social media links are there, but I'm at Joy_Villa on Twitter, at JoyVilla on Instagram, and Facebook at JoyVilla. But JoyVilla.com has got everything.
Joy Villa, Villa, and it's pronounced Villa. Now,
that's right.
I read that when I first moved to the West Coast, to Las Vegas, from the East Coast, Baltimore, Maryland. I drove down to California. There's a little city there, you may have heard, San Diego, and this little town north of San Diego called La Jolla. I mean, everybody knows it's La Jolla, right? And I was calling it La Jolla for the longest time. For somebody said, "You idiot, it's La Jolla." And I said, "That's not how it's spelled." And so I thought it was Joy Villa, and I keep forcing myself to say Villa because I was so ridiculed.
Because you're a racist.
That's some racist. That's right. Okay.
Obviously.
Tell us about your friend in the entertainment industry who was inspired by your actions, and we'll bring her up.
Yes. Kaya Jones is my good friend. I've got my friend Kaya Jones and Antonia Okafor. Two beautiful babes right over there. Yeah, clap. Both Trump supporters, conservatives, powerhouses. So first I'll introduce my friend Kaya Jones. I'll tell you about her. So she used to be in a group called the Pussycat Dolls. Yes.
Oh, people know, yeah.
You guys know. #1 pop group on the planet. At that time, nobody was outselling them. You know, there was just the hottest thing. So she left the Pussycat Dolls because of her conservative convictions. She walked away from it. And she's going to tell you her story in detail, but she came out as a Trump supporter. She called me. We've been friends for years, and we did the Grammys together. She saw my dress at the Grammys. She was backstage with me. She walked up to me, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, Joy, you're a Trump supporter?" We never talked about it. I mean, it's such an isolating industry. We couldn't even have talked about it within each other because you really feel like you're going to lose friends. And of course I did. So she came out to me on that red carpet, and she says, "I'm a Trump supporter. I want to wear my T-shirt. I want to come out. Should I? I'm scared." I said, "Girl, you need to live your truth. We need to not be silent anymore. We need to come out." And so she did. And she is such an incredible person. When you hear her speak, she speaks with conviction. She speaks her truth. She's had platinum #1 singles on her own as a single artist and DJ. She's local here in Las Vegas. She's an incredible businesswoman. She started her own record label. She helps kids find themselves and their dreams. And she's a champion for many causes, and she's an out and proud and beautiful Trump supporter.
All right, Kaya, come on up.
Kaya Jones!
You're welcome. There you go. I think it's on. Test it. Is it working?
It's working. Hi.
All right.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to speak?
Well, Kai, I want you to just say a few words first, but I just want to tell everybody that we had a dinner together last night with a lot of the speakers, because they don't charge us because we're a nonprofit to speak. They come, and give their time freely, and so I treat them to dinner. And we had dinner last night, and I brought my kids, and I'll tell you, my daughters fell in love with the two of you and Antonia, and just had the most wonderful time. And you guys are such an inspiration to them already in one night. So, Kai, tell us a little bit about your story.
Hi. So good to be here.
I'm Kaya.
Hi. Yes. So I'm Kaya Jones. Nice to see you guys. I fell in love with Donald Trump when he started speaking what was in my mind, and I felt scared to wear this shirt. So it was an empowering moment to see my friend on the red carpet. We're both voting members of the Recording Academy. I also do advocacy for the Recording Academy, and Joy does as well. And it just is scary that, we were scared to wear things, your hat, your shirt, and being from Vegas. This is where I was raised since I was 6 years old. So this is my hometown. This is not just where I live now. And we know this state is gone blue. And that's scary for a lot of us.
Boo.
Big boo. We have to change that. We have to change that. But Joy is correct. I left the Pussycat Dolls. I started in music when I was very young, started violin when I was about 4. Joined R. Kelly with a development deal when I was about 13. Then went on to do stuff with Capitol Records, and then subsequently joining the Pussycat Dolls. I was in the Dolls for about 3.5, 4 years, and it wasn't about the fact that we were, our name, of course, was Pussycat, kind of like the Pussy Hat, right? Right? So it wasn't that our name was sexual or that we were looking sexual per se. It was what was going on behind the scenes that none of you guys know. Ethically was wrong. Abortions, being pressured with young women in the group, drugs, and eating disorders, all those kinds of things that were pushed on, as well as sexual advances by a lot of the executives, things that I did not agree with. And being a very young girl, I was 21 when I made the decision to leave the Dolls. I had joined when I was 18. And it was a moment actually here in Vegas, how serendipitous, my hometown. We are performing at Divas Live, MGM Grand Garden Arena, and there are 2 little girls in the front row. And I was coming through the aisle, and one was 4, the other one had to have been about 6 or 7. And they looked up and said, oh, she's a Pussycat Doll. They were just so excited. And I just knew in that moment, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not what young women should see. Not necessarily of being powerful and being beautiful, but they don't see that caution, this is a lie. They're not seeing that. It doesn't say that on the magazine cover. It doesn't say that when you see us on stage, but it is a lie. What's going on? Are you in a good place? Are you a positive, mentally and spiritually? And I had to make that choice for myself that spiritually I couldn't serve 2 gods. So I had to make that decision, have one foot on earth.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I had one foot on earth and one foot in heaven. I was doing the back and forth dance, and you need to just plant your feet. And so it took me a long time to finally journey into planting my feet, but that was the beginning of the journey, which was saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then follow my existence into wanting to help advocate for music and music legislation. Artists are not paid. FM, AM radio, pay for play. And really then deciding what I wanted to do. Well, I had this calling to do shows in Iraq. I wanted to perform for the military. My father's side of the family, I'm Native American, and my mother's Jamaican, German, and a bunch of other fun stuff. I know you can tell, right? I so look it.
So you're obviously a racist.
I must be. That's right. That's right. I make jokes about this because I am half Native. I want to lay the first brick or solar panel. I think it would only be fair that we get some Native people to do
yes.
So I had this calling. I wanted to do stuff with military. And my dad's side of the family, everyone in his family has served in our military. My grandfather's buried in Arlington, in fact, who was a wind talker. So I felt...
Wow.
Thank you. So I felt this calling to go and perform for our military, and I got to go over to Iraq, and this was in 2009 during Project Iraqi Freedom. And we were supposed to do 24 shows in 12 days, and this was me being solo, leaving the Pussycat Dolls behind, and we got rocket attacked profusely on one of the bases. Yeah, we had about 10 rockets in 30 hours. Super fun. Not so much. But we ended up doing 20 shows in 10 days, so we lost 4 shows and 2 days grounded to that base. And that changed me forever. I came home, and I had a new mission now. Was different. I understood military to a different degree. Yes, it was genetically programmed in me where I felt this calling to do more with military. But at this point, it felt like, wow, they're really not getting the credit they deserve, and nor can they explain to most of their wives and their family what they do. Luckily, I was able to go into their camp, their office, and get to see what they did. And so it was very cool, and I came back home and I wanted to do stuff with the VA, so I started doing stuff with the VA, started doing more philanthropy work. Thank you. And that brought me to get to 2012, where I saw that there was a lot of lies going on with Benghazi. And that was the day that I really then planted my feet. I'm a Republican. This is not right. Yes. What's going on is not right. So that journeyed me to, paying attention, watching all of the news networks, reading as much as I could, and finding out what it is to be a conservative, what it is to be a Democrat, a libertarian, or a liberal, and finding my truth. And so I really felt honored that someone that was my friend way far, before she wore that dress, and the designer that made the dress, we're all friends. He made my 2014 Grammy dress. And so to see this empowerment, and I had the best view possible on that red carpet. I know we all had good views, but I had a great view. I got to watch my friend literally set the Grammy red carpet on fire. It was amazing. It was amazing. Amazing. And she was on all the networks, and I said, I did a video with this exact shirt and sent it out and sent it to her and put it up on my social media. And the next day she said, don't be scared, come out with your narrative. No one else is coming out, and we need to start this movement. And she was right. And I posted a picture, not with a publicist or anything like that. The next day it was the head of Breitbart News, because I was a former Pussycat Doll. And from there, we've just found more and more and more conservative celebrities. There's an army of us. They're just not all out. That's right. So there's an army. And I don't mean a small one. I mean very well-known names. Some of them will come out in time when it's time for them, and some of them are going to help us behind the scenes, because there is a coup working against us, and we know that. And in the opposition, we have our own coup, so working against them. All right. Yeah. So I'm honored to be here in my hometown and talking with all of you, and thank you, Joy and Chuck, for inviting me to this wonderful conference.
All right, Kaya Jones.
So before you announce, is anybody feeling a little bit better about the next generation coming behind us? Yeah, I know I am. Now, I'm going to let you introduce Antonia,
Yes.
but I got to tell you about this. Okay, so Joy brings Kaya on board, and I say, okay, this is great. And then she says, well, I've got another friend that I'd like to bring with us also. Yeah. And I had not heard of this young lady yet, so I had to look her up on the internet. And this presented a problem, because I had Joy, and I had Herman Cain, and I had Albert Guillory. I had already reached my quota of black speakers.
Oh!
And
racist.
No, he did not.
I mean, one more black speaker, and I'm out of the KKK. They warned me about this.
Wait, I'm
thing.
25%.
Because I'm a racist. Everybody knows it. But no, I'll tell you, I went online immediately and watched her video from the National Rifle Association. I said, I got to have this girl here. So go ahead and tell us how you met Antonia. Tell us a little bit about her.
Yes. So Antonia Okafor, this woman is a powerhouse. Okay, she's young, she's powerful, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. She champions for campus carry. That is so that people, yes, you guys know what that is. so that we can protect ourselves. These girls are getting raped on campus. If they have guns and they know how to shoot them, that's not going to happen. So I call her affectionately my gun mama. She taught me how to shoot. And she is expert trained. She's a spokesperson for the NRA. She's been in their commercials. She's a strong, black, conservative woman. She's running for Miss Texas. Woo! Yes! Yes! She's got a GoFundMe campaign because she's got to put up the money because all these liberals are getting sponsorships. They're not going to sponsor Republican. So if you guys can check out that GoFundMe, she'll tell you more about that, I'm sure. But she is such a beautiful person. So we met through social media, and we just started liking each other's pictures. I was like, hey, girl, hey. And I started watching all her stuff, and I became a fan. And she became a fan of mine, and we became friends. So when we were in New York just a couple months ago, I said, can you teach me how to shoot? I really want to shoot, but I'm from California. Ain't nobody gonna teach me how to shoot there. They don't want a girl to have a gun out there in California. It is impossible. And in New York, it's also impossible. So she did the research. She found a great shooting range, Gun for Hire in New Jersey. We did a whole video. It's coming out this week of her teaching me how to shoot. And she knows the proper way. I mean, it took all of 5 minutes. And she asked me a question as I'm like, oh my gosh, I did this. I really shot a gun. She says, do you feel empowered? And I said, you know what, Antonia? I do feel empowered. And that's the name of her company, her 401 nonprofit that gets women how to learn how to shoot, how to properly learn how to carry, how to protect themselves. It is called Empowered. So Antonia Okafor, please come up and share your story. Antonia!
Okay. I get you. You got it? Well, don't fall off the stage. There we go. All right, you're not going to shoot me, are you?
I didn't bring a gun this time.
Okay, didn't bring a gun. All right. Okay, tell us your story, Antonia.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for having me here. Again, thank you, Joy. Thank you, Kaya. I have just met these girls a month or two ago, but I've become fast friends with them. They're amazing, genuine people, and I'm really glad to be here. Thank you, Chuck, for inviting me as well. So again, my name is Antonia Okafor. I'm an NRA commentator, but I started out really a passionate activist for the Second Amendment on and off college campuses. So I started out as any other Republican, right? I started out with, at 5 years old, my father went to prison for selling heroin. That's a typical Republican story, right?
Right.
Right. 20 years in prison. My father went there. He was at the end. He went back to Nigeria. And I grew up in poverty. My mom was a single parent. But despite all those things, my mom, who I love dearly, and she's still with me today. I say as if she's gone. She's still here, a Nigerian-American woman. She taught me values that brought me to where I am today. I grew up as a Democrat. In fact, I voted for Obama not only once, but twice. I know. So I said this story to the NRA at the NRA convention in April, okay, in Atlanta, and they had the same reaction, but they forgave me because I tell them after that I could never vote for anyone, especially a Democrat after that, again. And I voted for President Trump last time because I have conservative values. And it took me a long time to realize that I've always been a conservative. Like I said, I grew up as a Democrat. My family they voted for Hillary and for Bernie. I'm still working on them with the Second Amendment as a starter. But they still have that identity politics mindset. That because they're African American, because they're black, they're from Nigeria, that to be a black person means you have to be a Democrat. And I remember in 2012, I was for Obama, I was a college student last year of school, going to a Women for Obama luncheon. And my aha moment was when I go there and the political director is telling us about their outreach to all the communities, right? This is the national political director. And there's a group of African-American women behind me as part of a small business ownership group. And they asked them, like, well, we hear all of these we hear the strategy for all these communities in America and what you're going to be doing with them, but we don't hear anything about the African American community. Can you tell us why? And the political director tells us, well, we got over 95% of the vote last time, so we don't really need to go into the African American community at all. And I remember looking behind me, and then they're looking at me, and we're like, did this girl just say that out front? And I'm like, yes, she just said that. And this is me, a liberal progressive Democrat at the time. And that was the aha. They think they already have the vote. Yep. They think that we can just vote their way no matter what they say, no matter what policies they have, no matter the fact that African Americans were doing worse after Obama's administration than they were beforehand, that they were more dependent on government than they were beforehand, and that the fact that as a gun rights activist, they always talk about the KKK and the Republicans and gun control. Well, let's just have a history lesson. The fact that KKK started as a gun control group and took away guns from African Americans when they wanted to protect themselves. And they were founded by Democrats, absolutely, yes, ma'am. And so in 2015, I was a graduate student. And I realized that another narrative that the left likes to push is that there's rape culture, right? That everyone's being raped on campus. And there's definitely a truth to that. There's obviously, just like off campus, there are people who want to harm someone because they're physically smaller and more vulnerable, women. And I was tired of hearing those stories with me being a past sexual assault survivor, and then also my friends having to deal with that. But I realized the narrative was always ending on the fact that women were victims, that they were going to be raped, right? That there's nothing that you can do to protect yourself. And then Campus Carry came along. And so I realized that the only way I was going to fight for women is to make sure that they had the right to self-defense on and off campus. And so I joined the group that passed Campus Carry in Texas in 2015. And so in 2016, we have Campus Carry in Texas. So the NRA, being who they are, legends, found out about me. And I was really glad that I got to be a part of their Freedom Safest Place commercial that was national. And maybe you guys have seen that. That came out last year with my yellow shirt. After that, I did more things with them, and now I'm an NRA commentator. But I'm just here to show that, yes, I'm an African-American woman. My parents are Nigerian, which is funny because there are still black people who will tell me I'm not black enough because I voted for Trump, right? I'm like, look, at least I know my parents are African,
because
okay?
You're racist.
Because I'm racist and sexist and misogynist. At least I know that. But I will continue to fight for those principles because it doesn't matter what skin color you are, where your background you come from. This is America. My parents came here for that reason.
Yes.
And that's why the freedom of speech and that the freedom to protect myself, I always say, as a born-again Christian, I was born again 8 years ago, that God gave me, thank you. God gave me the passion to fight for two very important things: the right to life and the right to protect your life. And so those are two things that I will continue to advocate for and push because it's important for all people, all Americans, all human beings, because it's a human right. And thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah. We'll have to share one here. So this I love because I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of people here in the audience have also been involved in a long time. And so, we've heard of Herman Cain. We know Herman Cain. And so we wanted to come and see Herman Cain because he knew he was great. The hard part for me, is to identify new faces and voices and speakers to come. And did I do okay with these three? Oh, all right. Now, my work is done. I'm retiring after this. And this will be good. Now, I know we could sit here and we could talk politics and race all night long.
Isn't that why we're here?
Well, sort of. But there's something else more. I want to talk about something else because, and I got to tell you, you should see, this is a whirlwind of energy and activity when these three get together. You should have seen them at dinner last night. I mean, this one's on Periscope, this one's on Instagram, and they're running around the room with videos and everything else. And I was tired 5 minutes after watching them. It was just awesome. But unlike, let's say, Antifa, unlike Black Lives Matter, unlike, I think, what's her name, Bounce?
Beyonce.
If they even talk a little bit about helping with Hurricane Harvey, that's about the best you can do. If I'm not mistaken, the three of you loaded up the bus and moved down there for a few days. I mean, they didn't just talk about, oh, we need to help the folks down there. I mean, the three of you got together and you were down there. So instead of talking politics and race and all that heavy stuff, tell us about that, because you had firsthand experience on the ground at Ground Zero for that. So go ahead. Would you? How did you get down there? What was the?
Yeah, no, it was my birthday, and my new single came out, and me and Joy were both on the charts. I was on the 3 behind Taylor Swift and Pink on the pop chart, and Joy was at #1 on the rock chart. We were both on the charts at the same time, and it felt wrong that we were pushing our songs. It felt really just wrong. And it was my birthday on that Monday, the 28th of August, and we just said, what can we do?
And then a charity reached out to us called mercury1.org. And, we were pushing our songs. I mean, I would say, I wouldn't say for me it felt wrong, but it felt like disconnected from what was happening. Because so many people were suffering, right? And Kai and I, we have a big heart for suffering. You know, we've been through a lot, and we were raised to give back to the community. And we both decided, okay, this charity reached out to us. They said, can you just retweet something? Can you just post? And Kai and I were like, well, we don't just post.
No, we did a Periscope.
That's right.
And in 8 hours, we had raised $250,000. So we said, well, let's keep going. And
Yes.
so within 7 days, we raised $3 million.
Yes. Woo! $3 million.
And we went down there.
So we went to Dallas, and from Dallas we went to Houston. And we not only raised the money digitally, like that was just through our campaigning, our talking about it, through our social media, because we have fans with big hearts, and 90% of them now are Trump supporters. And Republicans actually give. Republicans are the ones that give to charities. Republicans are the ones that do that, not the Democrats. They think this, it's fine. The government will take care of everything. So we know that's not going to happen. So we went down there and we delivered food. We made food, baby supplies. We cleaned out homes. We talked to the people. We were directly on the grounds in Houston for several days.
Yeah, we were on the ground. We were on the ground there within 5 days of it, it being really in the thick of it. We were giving $1,000 to one family, and they're taking half of that and giving it to their neighbor. That's the kind of spirit we saw. Yes. And the big Confederate flag right behind them.
Yes.
Okay?
There you go.
So
Yes.
we really need to kind of shift this narrative, because we met some incredible human beings, really good salt of the earth Americans. And there was nothing about them that was weak or they're the victim. They were complete victors, even though they were the ones that were victimized in this horrible event. Yes. The spirit was so strong. We were feeding first responders, military that hadn't received a hot meal in over a week. It was sad and it was scary, and there was no celebrities there. Yeah. There was no Beyonce with the Houston, Texas baby that made her millions of dollars. So we started to talk stuff on social media.
Exactly.
And then one at a time, they had to pull out their checkbook.
And, and we're happy, like we said, we're Republicans. Conservatives start the movement always. We were the only notable faces down there. Everyone else was just good church people, good folk people, Operation Barbecue. JJ Watts did come out. He's incredible. He's raised something like $100 million. He's great. But you know what we did, and we didn't do it for people to say, hey, look at us, we're celebrities helping. We did it because there was need. And wherever, much is given, much is expected. And we have a lot of fans, and we said, let's use our influence, let's use our celebrity to help. And that $3 million, part of it will also go to help the victims from Hurricane Irma as well. Because the same team then went over there, and we were looking at maybe going out there. But it's just, this is what we have to do as human beings, unifying. And I tell you, when I was out there on the ground, I had my hair pulled back, and I had my Make America Great Again hat.
Yep.
I said, everyone's going to know Trump supporters are on the grounds helping these people. It was incredible.
It was incredible. It was
Isn't that
incredible.
fun? Okay, we only have a few minutes more to go. So I want to go back to controversy in politics.
Okay.
Because I know this was a big thing for you guys recently. You had, and you weren't here this morning, my Twitter account got frozen this morning.
What?
Because I called a liberal a moron.
What?
And I thought telling the truth was a defense, but apparently not on Twitter. But you've had some rather negative experience just recently with social media as well. So would you tell us about that for folks who may not know?
Yeah, Antonia, you've had some experiences too, right? Yeah, why don't you?
You have? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's the typical raccoon and all that great jazz. But, I mean, yeah, I think that's part of it is when, so maybe my story is a little bit different than theirs because I used to be on the left. And even though when you're in entertainment, people just assume you're on the left. I used to be on the left, was Wendy Davis, all that stuff. And then went to the right, realizing through, wow, being educated and knowing the policies, who knew that you could have facts and then actually turn into the right way. And so I got a lot of backlash because I also had a lot of friends who saw me, my family as well, kind of seeing that betrayal. And then realizing that, oh, no, this woman really believes what she believes in, and she's really going away from the left. I think that's why we are a triple threat, really, is because we understand the left, and we're using the good parts of it, which is messaging, which is being young, being able to look at diverse, groups and everything, and seeing the good parts of that. But then also using facts, like the right does, and then using it to our advantage. That is the scariest thing for them. So that is why they attack us three the most, because they not only see us as people who are traitors, right? But they see us traitors who are able to help our side win and win effectively for the future. So that's scary for them. And they will call us all the good names that you've already heard. Same thing that I get. I have not been called bed wench yet, but maybe in the future. No. In the future. Apparently, since I'm a very pro NRA person, apparently I can't be pro NRA and a black female. Who knew? Who knew? I'm still learning all of that stuff. But I also, as a journalist, I was a student journalist as well. So all the stuff that we're seeing at Berkeley and everything, I've been seeing that for years. I've been reporting about that for years. I've been on the ground and that stuff has been happening. They have been attacking conservatives on college campuses. I'm sure you guys remember Charlie Kirk speaking a couple days ago, or yesterday, and talking about that. That is real. I've been seeing that for a long time, and it's only going to get worse until we stand up and step up. So it's not just black conservatives, not just women, it's not just students. It's a lot of people who are tired of it. But I will say that one good thing about this is that seeing things like UC Berkeley, I remember seeing that it's so outrageous and radical, it's waking people up. It's waking people up to finally realize that, what, do I have these values? And do I want to be associated with these people? No, I don't. And so at least that's one good thing about this whole thing, is that it's waking people up and putting them in the right side.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. And I can say too, it's like, they will attack you from every angle. Like for me and Kaya, our YouTube got censored. YouTube actually censored me a couple days ago because, actually it was a couple weeks ago now. I have my music video called Make America Great Again. And it features amazing American faces. I'm singing Let's Make America Great Again. We can come back twice as strong. Highly controversial things, right? Yeah. Obviously, white supremacy, Whoa. So YouTube gets a complaint. Someone in the video doesn't want to be in the video, even though I got written permission, fine. And I'm dancing around in my Trump dress in the video, by the way. Check it out. It's really cool.
That might have done it.
Yeah, that might have been the triggering point. And so YouTube says, you have to take it down. You have 48 hours or we're cutting your video. And I'm like, why? They said, because they sent me a letter. It wasn't a back and forth conversation. It was just a letter because someone, somewhere, some nameless, faceless person doesn't like it. They reported. And I looked into their guidelines. There was no way to fight it, no way to submit, but I have written permission. These people were okay to be in my video. Nothing like that. So from their angle was one person complains and you're the bad guy. You imagine if we did that here? Like, imagine if that's how the system was, I don't like that tie. He's gone. Get him out of here. No way for you to say, but it's silk, Joy. It is a nice tie, actually. It's nice.
Sort of match.
Yeah, it's very nice. So that happened for a while, and then Kaya, her videos' views started being taken away.
Yeah, my video is actually pro-military, and so it's from the angle of the spouses and the families that get left at home, feeling kind of like they're from the outside looking in, and I don't know if it's the folded flag that I receive in the end of the story, but they decided to start taking away my views and pumping Katy Perry right underneath me. Not as a recommendation, by the way, and for someone who has like 30+ million views, and we're not of the same narrative, nor even of the same sound. It's just very interesting that they were pushing an artist that, pro-curating the minds they want to curate. God forbid myself and Joy and Antonia curate youth and minds into the positive direction of God and country. So they started taking away my views. So me and Joy decided again to get onto our social media.
Oh yeah, we tweeted, we Periscope, we
did.
Facebook Live, we talked about it nonstop. And what happened is YouTube finally got back to us and sent a letter saying, oh, you know what, Joy, just kidding, ha ha ha. Your video's
And
fine.
wait, here's some.
And Fox also
here's
did
some
an article
views.
about it. Breitbart did an article about it. All the media, all the underground media, Alex Jones had us on talking about it. Everybody started talking about it. It started becoming trending. Make America Great Again, the title of my song and Trump's amazing slogan, was trending on Twitter because of this. And people started posting the video on other avenues too. They're like, okay, we're gonna flood it so there's 25 places where we can see your song so that they can never take it down. And YouTube backed down. And that's really that's what we wanted. YouTube backed down. Victory.
So her video is there to stay. My views came back, and
That's
Antonia,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me when you said YouTube, then I was like, oh yeah, one of my videos did the same thing. So I did an interview with Dave Rubin, a classical liberal guy. He's very fair to us on the conservative side. And he had his he wasn't on social media for a while, and then he comes back to YouTube telling them that we're gonna demonetize about 7 of his videos. He's been doing stuff for a long time. Also a guy that used to be on the left. And one of the videos was my interview with them. And so that night, Tucker Carlson has him on his show that night to talk about it. And YouTube, right before he goes on, says, oh, the only reason we would ever demonetize any of your videos, remember mine as well, is if you mention ISIS or if you mention beheading people. My title of my video was Black, Armed, and Conservative, okay? I talked about my life. I basically talked about what I just talked to you guys. I do not mention ISIS. I do not mention beheadings. I don't mention foreign policy, okay? So they demonetized it. They kept it there. And I even have it on my Twitter at Antonia underscore Okafor if you want to go look at it, where it's still demonetized to this day. And they use those fake narratives to say that, oh, that's why we did it. And they have manual reviews. So a person actually looked at my video and still said that was something that was part of it.
We need to go back on social media.
We do. I need to get them to help me and get back on. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's happening to everyone now. It's happening on either Hollywood or the gun side. They don't care, and that's why we need a new narrative.
You know what? And because of this, it's brought to our attention. We're notable, and at least we're able to use our fan base. Can you imagine if you have no fan base, you're just trying to get out there, and your videos get demonetized, so you can't make money off them. People are hidden. We're getting shadow banned. Your views start getting disappeared. Death. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I actually talked to YouTube 2 days ago. I was on a phone call with YouTube with one of the guys who works there. I said, listen, you guys, because they had called me. They said, hey, we want to talk to you about growing your channel. You're one of our chosen creators. So I was like, cool. Let me also talk to you about something else you guys did to me and my friends. So they actually heard, he says, yeah, we saw that. We see that in your notes here that you've had something happen. So I talked to him, and he said, well, that's not fair. Everybody's voice deserves to be heard. I said, yes, let me tell that to your CEO. I want to meet you guys. I want to go to the YouTube space. I've got tons of followers. I've got tons of fans, tons of friends who this is happening to. And I want to stay on your platform, because if we start taking our content off that platform, where are the 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old conservatives? Where are they going to find content, music to listen to? Where are they going to find Antonia's videos so that they can be a gun rights activist? If we start taking our content away from them, we're taking it away from our fans. So I said, we want to work with you, but you have to give us a platform as well. So I said, okay, we'll be in talks. So I'll let you guys know how that goes.
There you go.
Or if any of you wealthy people here want to help us start a new platform where we don't have to cow down to that anymore, let us know, because that is something too that we need to, as conservatives, have those platforms. Just like with pop culture in Hollywood, we need to be in there because politics is culture.
I don't know if you've seen these ladies yet, but they are now appearing much more regularly on Fox News, a lot of the cable channels and everything else. And Hannity, I'm assuming they're probably going to see a lot more. You guys got anything, as we wrap up, anything new and exciting that maybe you can give us a preview of? We're running out of time now. Yeah, but
Well,
you're going to stick around for dinner tonight. and everything.
Yeah, we're going to be over there. So we're.
Come see us at our booth. We'll talk to you guys. We'll sign autographs. We've got some goodies. We'd love to meet you, take photos, selfies. So we'll just be right over there after.
Yeah,
here.
and if you want to see more of our work, you can go to my website, AntoniaOkafor.com. Again, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Antonia_Okafor. Enjoy.
Say joyvilla.com. You could, and Kaya Jones, Kaya Jones.com. You can stick with us, and we're just part of the movement. We got to keep the movement going for the youth. I mean, we all get emails and letters from our fans. I mean, I have fans that are 12-year-old conservative LGBT. They go that far. So it's imperative that we let people know they're not alone, and you can have multiple types of views and be of all different skin tones, because just because you're the same skin doesn't make you someone's kin. And so we need to keep on, we need to keep on the narrative of pushing positive affirmations in our nation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Are they great or what? Thank you so much. Yeah.